Hello everyone. Here's something that pop up said that it was a low connection, so I'm gonna see if anybody pop up and see if it's actually working, or do I have to shut this off and start over? So we'll see. Give it about a minute and see if we can get somebody to come in. And yes, it's Friday night. Hello. Give me a quick minute. Hey, Mrs. Payton. I hope you having the most wonderful day in the weekend. We're going to talk real briefly about actually being able to put healthy food in our black communities. Yeah, I'm a little warm, so I'm but just for 1 minute. We're also going to be talking about our precious metals and how we can actually make sure our black folks can be more successful. All right. I hope everyone is doing well today. Yes, my name is Darrick Tucker. I am a board member of Rhinos Nation. So we're here in one of our offices that we have here in the Memphis, Tennessee area. And we mean to actually have offices. Let's have them straighten up a little bit about my desk. We mean to have offices in basically most of the major cities throughout the United States within the coming years. Our purpose, our goal, our motto, well, they don't like to say goal, but our motto is strictly one simple thing: helping black people to grow and businesses to grow and become more self-sufficient where we can stand on our own 2 feet. It's not a whole lot to that. Now, it's not a whole lot to saying it, but there's a whole lot to getting that done. Let me tell you what happened to me today. It's been a wonderful day. It's been a wonderful day. Got a lot done here on a Friday. Actually got an invitation to go to a small farmers expo coming up on the 19th in Tennessee to actually meet with a lot of other farmers and other people of that nature. And that's going to be where we can actually get a lot of our food supplies. It's actually getting to our black farmers so we can feed our people healthy food. I hope that people start to realize that actually having healthy food without the GMOs and other things. I'm not talking about diets and all that kind of stuff. I'm saying having healthy food. I mean that the apples, the pears, the peaches, and things of that nature, and grapes and the greens and whatever we eat, that healthy food is actually healthy. That's vitally important. I know that it may not be as important to some people, and it might be boring to others. I can understand that part. But I can tell you this: it's no more boring than you sit up in that hospital and they have to have surgery because some new disease you have picked up because of the stuff that they actually put into our food. Now, in order to win, I keep saying this, and I'm keep saying this until hopefully it can ring home to at least 1 to 10% of our people. We can't win a war when we have no clue what's going on in the war. We like to just look over things that's glittering, whatever, as a whole. People in general, just not black folk, but Rhinos Nation was built for us, for black folks. We're getting so much of the hand-me-downs when it comes to food. It's absolutely absurd. It's just the news keeps getting worse and worse. The more stuff come out, the worse it gets. There's basically nothing new that come out that's saying we're going to give healthy food to black people. The black neighborhoods are going to be more and more healthy food. They are saying there are quite a few co-ops that open up in some of the cities. That is good news. But only so co-ops can only feed, hey Mrs. Bird, co-ops can only feed so many of our people. It's great that we're going to have some healthy food, but let's be realistic. A lot of our cities that are huge, that is huge when it comes to the black population, little co-ops not going to be able to do that. You're talking about putting Band-Aids on a arm that been basically almost cut off in a car accident. If you are losing that much blood, and I run up on you and say, well, here's a Band-Aid, people going to look at me really stupid. Mr. Tucker, there's nothing that Band-Aid is going to do. That's what we're doing with some of the things that we're working on. We got politicians begging white folks to actually put grocery stores in our predominantly black neighborhoods because most of those are what they call urban food deserts. Urban food deserts is just mean there's certain areas within a one, and that's how they classify it now. Within, some people said 2, but some of the reports said from a 1 to 10 mile radius, they do not have an easy access to fresh fruits, vegetables, and meat. That's considered a food desert. You look at most of your predominantly black cities throughout the United States, they are now classified as food deserts. Let me show you a report. This is not our paper, this is not our flyer, but I'm going to show you this. This is one that's actually in the Memphis, Tennessee area. So let me show you where it says on here. Right here it says it's a food fight. What does it say on there? The battle to eliminate what? Memphis food deserts. There's a battle. That's what it's saying. There's a battle to eliminate Memphis food deserts. I'm not making this stuff up. This is not my paper. It's being what? It's being what? Fought on several fronts. All this area you see, let me make sure I point this out so you can understand how this is working. All this area of green is considered food deserts for the Memphis, Tennessee area. Guess what most of those areas are? Those are mostly predominantly black neighborhoods. Where you see the white areas are mostly predominantly what? White areas. These are where you see the little red apples. That means they have grocery stores there. Major grocery stores. And then they got the little ones, the yellow ones, I believe, is where they got, the little mom and pop grocery stores. You see this? This is not a joke, people. Then they got this area, see where it's cloudy with a lot of green? That's mostly the White Haven area of Memphis, Tennessee. This looks like a lot of the maps in a lot of areas. I don't care if you go to Illinois. I don't care if you go to Florida. I don't care if you go to Texas. I don't care if you go to California. A lot of our areas, predominantly black, will be just like this, meaning that those green areas are what? Food deserts. That food desert means you do not have easy access to healthy food. This is not being done by me. Even this report is coming out by the USDA. And a lot of other people are doing studies on it. It is getting worse. It is not getting better. So while we out here doing all this stuff and chasing down entertainers, and we're actually complaining about people that's actually, where we complain about people that's taking and stealing our music and our songs and our dances and all that stuff, we are being slowly poisoned and slowly wiped out of this country by the lack of healthy food. And more people, there are some people, more people need to stand up and say, hey, please pay attention. We are in a food war, and people do not know that they are out wiping us out. It's called a genocide deal. They are physically wiping. They're going to say, oh, Tucker, you're taking it to the extreme. Not at all. I tell you what, here's the thing. Some of you are old enough to remember when they had that water shortage back in California, when they call it a drought. They right there on the edge of the ocean, but they had a water drought. They actually had a water drought where they was actually so bad that people were bringing bottled water in. Like this. I'm not going to show the name of the bottled water. Bottled water in where they was selling almost at $5 to $10 a bottle. It was that bad. See, people, what that old saying, you don't realize what you got until it's gone. The food places, the restaurant, the grocery stores are leaving in droves, predominantly black neighborhoods. They're leaving in droves. Memphis had 2 major grocery stores that shut down just the beginning of this year, with several more basically targeted to be shutting down, probably so. They're leaving in droves. I went to a place in Orange Mound, which is an area located in Memphis, Tennessee, predominantly black area. And they had such an uproar that one of the grocery stores was closing its doors. Because the biggest concern was there was a lot of elders there. See, we got to remember that it's just not a lot of us there, the younger people. And I'm not really young, but folks even much older than me. They don't have access to get in their car and drive and just go 10, 20 miles to go get groceries. A lot of them are not capable and able to do that. Where are we on making sure that we're protecting our elders? There's a lot of people that's middle to low income. They don't have transportation lines. And they're like, well, we got, these other cars, these the Ubers and the Lyfts and all that. They cost money. You got to get there. You got to shop. And I don't think that when you come out, so you're going to have time to buy groceries in the back of those cars, in those car seats and things. That's not the place to go. That's not the place to use to go or a vehicle to use to go get groceries. What are we going to do when that water shortage becomes now our food shortage? Are we going to be prepared and ready for that? And here's the other thing. The food that they're actually giving us now, it's not that good and healthy regardless. You go to some of their grocery stores. Go to their brand name grocery stores in the predominantly white areas. Compare those with in the predominantly black area. Same grocery store brand names. Whatever they are, go to those and then compare and see if you're getting the same food, the same employment, the same store layout. You see if it's clean the same. See if the smell, the aroma, you can smell fresh food when you walk in, the breads and things of that nature. See if you get that when you go to the black predominantly the areas with got grocery stores. The few that has some still left in them, then go to the predominantly white ones. See if you can pull up your map where it has your area, your city, and see where the food deserts are in your city. Just Google that. Say food desert, Dallas, food desert, Chicago, food desert, St. Louis. See where the food deserts are in your city. So you might be thinking, oh yeah, I don't think about that. I work, I get in my car, I go get groceries. So what if it's 10 miles or whatever? Yeah, but what about those people that don't have transportation? What about those elderly folks that just can't do it? They are slowly wiping out the black race, and no one's standing up and saying, hey, there's a wave that's going on here that's really bad for black folks. I'm not here to preach on or teach on all the negative stuff, but we got to be prepared to know what's actually going on. I mean, if I'm wrong at any time, please just tell me. Please just tell me. I know this is the weekend. I know a lot of us want to be out partying and things of that nature, but some of us, like me, they're big on the party. We like to be able to get the information, truthful information. It's not no video where you guys singing and dancing and all that stuff. It's not the place for it. I know it's going to be boring, but is saving your life boring? Is eating healthier food boring? And I know some of you are probably not going to care. At the end of the day, whatever the white folks feed us, we're going to be okay with. I don't care, Tucker. I'm going to get my food from this company. I've been getting my groceries from this company for I don't know how many years. I don't care what no black person said. I'm going to continue to get my food from them. I've heard that story before. As sad as it is, you would hope that it's not an intelligent person speaking, but sometimes you would thinking they are until they open their mouth and say stuff like that. It makes no sense to sit there and if I was to take your water, take some poison, pour it in your water and say, here, you've been getting it from me for 20 years. Why change now? I don't care what Tucker's white. I don't care what he put in that food. It's okay with me. I'm dropping this thing. I don't care. I'm going to continue to get my food and my stuff from them. I don't care what they do. I've heard that from a lot of black people. It's sad. When are we going to wake up? People say, I see that on social media a lot. We need to be woke. We need to be woke. You better start waking up about this food deal. Because before you know it, you're going to be in such a rut, you're going to be trying to figure out what the heck just happened. They pulled the wool over their eyes and boom, we did not see it coming. We didn't see it coming. I'm going to enlighten you all as much as possible so you can't go back without lying and say, oh, we didn't see it coming. Yes, you did. Because the people from Rhinos Nation told you it was coming. And for a lot of us, it's already here. That food desert is in your area. And that area is growing every single year. It gets bigger every year. You know how it gets bigger? Every time a major grocery store closes down, that food desert gets bigger. It means that there's less food, healthy food for you to eat. You know what's taking the place of those healthy food? Them little doggone fast food restaurants. Because, yeah, going to one of them fast food restaurants, that's healthy. They got that dollar special, man. I ain't passing on that dollar special. You go ahead and keep eating that dollar special. A lot of times they say, you know what? You get what you pay for. You paying $1 for a sandwich. You getting what you pay for. We got to be smarter than this. We got black people that are super intelligent. I mean, I run across some black people that's just so intelligent. It just, I'm in awe sometimes, just being around and listening to what they have to say. I'm a humble guy. I don't know everything, and there's no person I know on the planet that does. I know enough to actually, I was blessed by God to have knowledge, and I studied to do as much as I possibly can. That's why I'm here on this weekend. I'm talking to you all about food. I'm not out celebrating, which I was thinking about later on this evening. A buddy of mine, they do karaoke. I might go over there and listen to them. Lord knows the last thing you need me to do is sing, not even karaoke. You really want to have folks leave, just let me start singing. I'm absolutely terrible at singing. That is not my gift at all. It never has been. What I am great at is business. What I am great at is business. What I am great at also is having my eyes open and my ears open and doing research and studying and knowing that when the food deserts hit and they're growing, it's like, you ever seen that movie called The Blob back in the old days? It was a horror kind of thriller, horror kind of film where the thing from outer space came in. And it just took the form of a big old gooey blob. And the more it rolled over things, especially people, the more it digests. And the more it digests, the bigger it gets. I'm not saying we got something that's coming from outer space. I'm not one of those people that say, oh, the sky is falling. I am saying you don't have to be a rocket scientist to look up and open your eyes and see food deserts happening right before you if you live in a predominantly black city. If your family and parents live in a predominantly black city. If you don't live in one. If your parents live in a predominantly black city, go and visit them if you're not already visiting them. Check out what are the grocery stores within their area. If there is not a grocery store, not a corner grocery store, a grocery store within a 1 to 10 mile radius of you or your parents or loved ones, they live in a what they call an urban food desert. The area is like the blob, and it just keeps getting bigger every year, until they complete the black folks. It's almost like putting us back into what they formed, and people believe that the ghettos were formed because black folks moved in there. The thing called redlining. The ghettos were not formed by black folk. The government formed ghettos. They love to actually do things and blame black people for it. Then white folks picked it up. Next thing you know, black people picked it up and said that we formed ghettos. Black folks never formed ghettos. The government did that through the thing they call redlining. We're going to have to start doing more research and stop believing everything that white folks tell us, as well as some black people tell. Don't believe anything I tell you either. You know, most of y'all don't know me, except for social media. You're grown. Take the time out to pull out your smartphone, your computer, and do some research. These things are vitally important to us, that if we don't start doing that right now, we're going to be in the world of trouble. We're already in trouble now. It's going to get a whole lot worse. We got 44 plus million black people in this country. I don't believe more than 50% of us are living above the poverty line. I had a business part of mine, I think it was yesterday, day before yesterday, and came out and said that most of the black people, and make sure I got this right, I want to make sure I'm not quoting him, but in his statement that he posted that most black women, if not all black women, basically live on Section 8. Now, I don't believe that because I know some black women that don't live on Section 8 and probably never been on Section 8. Here's the thing. When the government controls what you eat, that's a major problem. Especially when the government has basically never been our friend. Name a time that the government was a friend of black folks as a whole. They've basically never been our friend. So these are the same people that put crack in our black communities. These are the same people that experimented on our black people. This wasn't slavery when we were talking about this stuff. And the big medical industries and drug industries. These folks actually experimented on black people when it comes to the Kiski deal. They experimented on women when it even doing the black women, especially one black woman I seen a report where even the way to find out the best way for the women on cycles and things of that nature, best tools and things, they experimented on this woman without giving her any kind of medication to actually even cease the pain. Just like a lab rat. They still do this to this day to a lot of our people. We have to start being more responsible for what we do to protect and watch over our people. You can believe this if you want, or not believe it if you don't want to. That's totally up to you. What I'm saying is do a little research. If you got children, how can you not actually be more concerned about your children eating habits than anything else? I'm telling you right now. Look at, right now they're saying, I believe it's like almost over 50%, if not more than that, a lot more than that, I think they were saying. And I got to go back and pull up the numbers. And I hate guessing, but from what I was getting, that a lot of our children, especially the girls, are obese before they even get to their teens. It's not always about them eating Cheetos and all kind of chips and drinking all kind of sodas, eating all kind of candy bars. It's because, or eating a whole lot of fast foods, because a lot of them eating them as well because of the food deserts. We're also eating some healthy food that's not that good for us either. Now, but here's the problem with those food deserts. Once that happens, all the junk food comes to our neighborhoods. That's what mostly we're snacking on. We're not snacking on the apples and oranges and grapes, which some of those are not healthy, and we'll explain that later. But we got, you go to our restaurant, our grocery stores. The healthy food says strawberries can be about $5 for a container. You get a big bag, jam bag of chip walking in the door for $1. What you gonna buy when you're short on money? You buying the chips, even at some of our grocery stores. The problem is a lot of our grocery stores are not in the area, so they have to small mom and pop shops, which small mom and pop shop is folded. I'm gonna tell you what one black guy that talked to me about. He's got a small mom and pop shop grocery store, and I was sad to hear that. And he knew it was wrong, but he said that's where his money comes from. That's how he obtained his living. You don't get a lot of customers, but when they do come in, there's three things they buy. There's three things they buy when they go to the small mom and pop grocery stores. Cigarettes, the candy, sodas. None of those things are healthy for you. Cigarette, candy, and sodas. He has a huge supply of sodas, and he makes so much money off the cigarettes. Let me tell you what he does. He actually takes the cigarettes out of the packages and sell the cigarettes individually. He makes more money off of them individually than he does in a package deal. So he opens the packages and sells them to them one or two at a time. And I don't even remember what the price was for those. But you're almost, you're just a few dollars away from buying the pack. This is where our money's going. Because major grocery stores are not in our neighborhoods. The children come in and they're running right there to the snack food because they're basically sent to the mom and pop stores without the parents. So the parents just allow them, and sometimes they probably sneak off like we did when we were little children. Sometimes we snuck off to go to the store. I'm grown now, I can say that. so I mean, they're just being honest. If it's within the walking distance, sometimes the children will sneak off and go to the little corner store with the little money they have, but they're gonna buy junk food because that's what's there. You're basically not gonna find any fresh fruits and vegetables in those corner grocery stores. They're not there. That's why our children, and then on top of that, they're not out playing like they, burning energy, like we did in old days. They got these deals. They got the iPads, the tablets, so they spending basically almost 60 to 70% of their time playing that thing. So they not running and playing with that. They sitting down and playing with that. So they're eating the junk food, drinking the sodas, and playing on these iPads and phones. Very little, no exercise, and loading their body with junk and not actually burning the junk off because they're sitting there playing on iPads and iPhones. And we don't force our children to go out and say, hey, time to put that down, spend a little time running around and playing or something. You got to burn it off. You can't eat all that cake, candy and stuff all day, baby. Put that down. You can get some of that after dinner. You can't eat that all day. You got to have some good solid food first, but because we don't have enough solid foods in our communities, in our neighborhoods, we basically leave it up to the children to eat whatever they can get their hands on. Because they can go to the store, like you said, and buy $1 worth of bag of air, and you're going to have some chips in it at the bottom. You know what I mean? The bag may be this big, but the chip starts right here. So you're buying air and getting some chips with it. So they do that because that's cheaper and easier access to get that than it is to get the fresh fruits and vegetables. I learned a lot now at this age from the stuff I've been through. And I know a lot of people are not going to care about this until they end up in the hospital. And a lot of you all are already in the hospital. You go to the hospital right now and get you some other doctors and ask them, okay, what does this patient have? Why are they in the hospital? And almost everything that happened to them, it wasn't for some person shooting or stabbing or whatever. It's because they in there not only for a mineral deficiency, that means that they lack of minerals in their body, which you're not getting that from junk food. You're getting no minerals basically from junk food. The candy, the doggone chips, the sodas. You're not getting that. A lot of the diseases we have now is because of the lack of minerals. They call it a mineral deficiency. When we have a lot of things where people not only have major health issues, but they die. Clogged arteries and things of that nature because they don't have enough to actually keep their arteries strong. Arteries and veins are like the inner tube that we used to have in the old days in our bicycle tires. And if you don't have those things healthy enough, where the elastic gets weak, and on it, what happened is, I don't got anything that can actually resemble it. So in that deal, it's like this. And the arteries, when they get weak, the elastic get weak, it starts to stretch and become a ball. Until that ball bursts, when that artery bursts inside of you, you basically, most of the time, you die. And sometimes right on the spot. It's called an aneurysm. You have a couple of different kinds, but it's called an aneurysm. That means when that artery bursts, it's going to be like a weak, the vessel gets so weak, the elastic gets so weak because of the lack of minerals in it, it actually starts loosening up. And when it loosens it up, it bursts and you actually bleed out inside. When you actually inside, you bleed in outside. It's weird how they say it, but you actually, the blood, you die from eternal bleeding. And if it's one of your arteries, which you know your arteries pump the blood to your heart. So when it's pumping it, it's going to be gassing. It's going to be pumping it out constantly. And it's not going to stop unless it's actually tied off. And sometimes it's not fast enough, because you have one burst here, I think it's either here in your neck or somewhere right behind your ear or something. When that happens, you basically die instantly. It's almost like they said, one report, they said, it's like somebody came with a hammer and hit you in the back of the head. Bam! You're gone. Soon as it bursts, some aneurysm, when it bursts, you die instantly, supposedly. I'm not a medical deal. I've just been doing reports, studying, watching and listening to what they're saying. These people are dying consistently. This is absolutely outrageous, because you do not have to die from an aneurysm. There's a lot of things that now our people are dying from which they don't make sense. Even our farm animals don't die from the stuff we die from. They get more minerals than we do. Well, until they start injecting them with all the hormones and stuff. Read the bottles or the labels of what they have on the dog food in minerals, and compare with what they have on the label for the doggone children for all of these so-called like Similacs and things of that nature. Look and see how many minerals are actually in it for our youth, the milk, and see how many minerals they put in the dog food opposed to they put in the children's food. They care more about them. For you people that don't believe that white folks care more about animals than they do people, you're going to have a wide, rude awakening. Read the labels of minerals and amino acids and things in the food for animals, and compare that with the food that they actually have for the children for their food. We're losing this war, and we don't even